I saw the end of yeah. So that's a Lego. Well, my video is really, really bad right now.
Oh, really?
So you're not downloading a game on
because you're also downloading stuff on PS4 while you're doing a podcast, which makes sense.
Why are you pirating stuff?
I'm not pirating.
Don't pirate. Don't turn off your torrents.
Nope.
You know, you can end
game.
If
you don't seed, then people don't let you download stuff.
I'll tell you right now that cam version of Toy Story 4 is not even worth watching. The video is terrible. The audio is awful.
Next time you should do a better job.
Toy Story 4, though, is a great movie.
I still have not seen it.
You know what is probably better than?
What's that?
Aladdin.
Well,
I liked Aladdin except for the beginning.
What happened?
The other thing I was going to say,
slow.
The opening pacing was terrible. The guy playing Jafar sucks.
Really?
Jafar. He's not Jafar. He's terrible.
Well, he's not the Disney animated Jafar.
Yeah, but you want him to be. He seems like sort of a pouty. Like it seems like he throws tantrums more than anything else.
Yeah, you're right.
I saw some pictures of the dude playing Jafar, and he was like really good looking, which seems.
Was he ever?
Seems to be kind of
the opposite of what
defeating Jafar. The purpose of Jafar. Yeah. It's like at the end, isn't he trying to like seduce Jasmine?
I didn't hate the backstory actually that they gave him. I think it made sense. But
Jafar has a backstory.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't.
We're not talking about that. We're live.
Why am I asking? I don't even care. Well, you know what? Hey, guess what? I don't care about spoilers for a live action remake of a 20-year-old movie.
Might be 30 years.
Let me guess.
At this point.
Let me guess. He gets the lamp.
Oh.
He wishes to become.
There's where you're wrong.
Jasmine falls in love with him despite the fact that he's not actually Prince. I bet he frees the genie at the end. Did I spoil?
Amazingly, all wrong.
Every bit
of it was wrong.
They took it to some weird places.
Yeah. And what's your final wish, Aladdin? Are you going to free me like you said? Actually,
I want to be a Twitch streamer.
Actually,
play video games on stream.
I'm not going to use my final wish. I'm going to keep you trapped in this this lamp forever.
I haven't gone back on my word.
You will have no future masters to free you, but you will also never be free.
Oh,
you are
until I deem it to so.
You are trapped in this lamp for eternity. Bwah ha ha.
Bwah ha ha.
Hashtag Robin Williams forever.
Boom.
There it is.
You can start the show anytime.
You doing this thing?
I don't know. Hold on, let me just recording.
Playing virtual racing. You do what you want.
Hello and welcome to episode 660 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019. I am your host, Chris Johnston. With me as always from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Yo.
Celebrating Canada Day tomorrow, are we?
Celebrating Canada Day tomorrow.
Excellent.
That's right.
Excellent. And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Month and a half.
Until...
one half. 6 more weeks.
Until Friday the 13th is out on Switch?
Until the number of the beast?
Until the devil takes over.
What are we going to do for that episode? Nothing. Got to come up with something.
We'll talk about doing something for like 6 weeks, and then we'll get there. It's like, hey, we didn't come up with anything.
We're going to have a hellish good time.
I don't know. Yeah, 666. Yeah. That'll be a fun episode.
Yeah.
Look forward to more of Phil doing an evil voice.
Just call me old Scratch Theobald. It's going to be a hell of a time.
Okay.
The devil, you say?
Speaking of being in hell,
where's this
segue going?
CJ's moving soon.
No, I'm talking about the Masters of Doom book.
Oh,
coming to television. Doom being set
books
in
can't
hell,
be
right?
TV. They're books.
When you say coming to television, do you mean like coming to streaming services or actually coming to television?
No, I believe it's USA Network who is funding the Masters of Doom television show being produced by the Franco brothers.
James and Joey Franco.
James and that other guy. I don't remember the other one's name.
Donnie.
That's not true.
Donnie.
Jonathan.
Jimmy and Bimmy Franco.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Seth
Sure.
Rogen.
No, that's Console Wars.
It's James and Dave Franco.
And that
Dave
is also
Franco.
a television
Dave
show
Franco.
now. That's also going to be a television show. They're not doing a movie anymore.
Oh, it's a
Console
TV
Wars?
Apparently, they're doing a show now.
Now, when you say a TV show, do you mean a streaming show?
No idea, because I don't
do
really
you
care
mean
that
a
much.
miniseries?
I just know that they're not doing a movie.
Speaking of streaming shows, allow me to pop the cap on my can of Stranger Things.
That
branded.
can's going to be worth something someday because there's a printing error on the front.
Is there?
Yeah, well, I mean, Stranger Things is upside down.
It's written upside down. You have to go. Yeah, if you want to read it, you got to do this.
And you got to pour all the soda out.
You're going to dump the soda out, drink it that way.
Yeah,
that's terrible. That's a terrible mistake.
Terrible idea.
I wouldn't open it because it's definitely going to be worth something.
Well, this is a 16 fluid ounce. This is 1 pint of.
Is that what a pint is? 16 fluid ounces.
0 sugar. I guess. I mean, unless
I don't know.
Well, you guys use Canadian measurements.
Milliliters.
Yeah. Now, Phil, you're looking at that
695 milliliters of PPT.
That Stranger Things Coke Zero there. Did you not get the new Coke?
Well, hold on. This is 473 milliliters, Greg, just to give you some perspective.
Oh, so in real measurement, it's 473 milliliters.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
This, CJ, I did get the Stranger Things branded Coca-Cola set.
Yeah,
that includes
Jesus
bottles, but also the cans of new Coke. I still have those sitting out there.
Okay.
But this is just I got this at the store.
Okay.
It's a larger can.
A larger can. Okay.
A larger can. I'm just gonna pop there we go. Pop the top on that.
Okay.
So I have a little something to lube the pipes while we do this.
Okay.
Our 660th episode of the Player One podcast. Oh
yikes.
Man,
that's an audio journey that you just took the audience on.
And, you know, I hear sci-fi films don't usually win any awards, but this one might. So I hear the aliens look exactly like pepperoni pizza.
What?
All right then. What?
Are we talking about Spaceballs or what are we?
Oh, there we go.
Pizza is gonna send out for you.
Oh boy.
Did I tell the story about how my daughter saw Spaceballs before she saw any Star Wars films?
It doesn't surprise me at all in your house. It seems
Really?
normal to me that she would see the movie aimed at adults before she'd see the movie aimed at everybody.
Sure, why not?
What was your favorite part? The dick jokes or the sex jokes? Which
Daddy, how big is your Schwartz?
Yeah.
No, when the princess used the laser gun.
What's
President?
Of
course.
What's President Scroob? First of all, what is Scroob
Why
mean?
does he have those two ladies in his bed?
Why is he bouncing around under the covers with those ladies?
They're having a sleepover.
What did
All
he
right,
mean when he said, "I bet she gives great helmet"?
Yeah. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Oh, they're talking about their cocks, dear.
Speaking of chaos, let's talk about.
I didn't see any
here.
chickens.
Speaking of Captain Chaos.
No, I'm talking about EVE Online, which I don't play, but this is pretty interesting that they unleashed NPC aliens that are attacking player strongholds and ships and whatnot unprovoked, and it's causing a whole bunch of chaos in that community.
That would be amazing. I have to say, every now and then, like every few years, I'll just sort of dive into some story about EVE Online, and it's fascinating.
Yes,
like the community around that game and the stakes in the community around the game just blow me away. And it's
because
so
people
much
have
fun to
ships
read.
that they either spent a long time preparing or they bought with real money, and then you can have an alien invader come in and destroy you, and that's gone. There's no reset.
Life on the frontier, baby.
Reset. Which is amazing.
There's no reset button on life either.
I sort of love these sort of things that just kind of happen. Like Fortnite does their what's the crack in the sky, or a cube has appeared, things like that. Like, I love those sort of moments where, without announcing it, something appears in the game that gets the community excited, or in this case, riled up. Because apparently
things.
The developers are not saying anything about it.
Oh, really?
There's a really interesting article on PC Gamer that I'll link to in the show notes. But yeah, basically it has quotes from the different factions and communities within the game about how this is throwing everything into chaos, because obviously computer controlled alien invaders don't have work and aren't sleeping and don't have to like wake somebody up to do something. And EVE Online is sort of a 24/7 game. So
this,
go global, bitch.
That's the rise of the machines. Are we?
It could be.
Yeah. The reason the developers haven't said anything is because they didn't create these things.
Oh my goodness, that's
right.
This is the Matrix level shit right here.
It's pretty cool though. I like it.
Yeah,
I don't play EVE Online, but
well,
strikes me as interesting.
You don't like it that much, then?
Well, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll try it.
No, you
won't. And you know what? I wouldn't suggest it because that game is so robust at this point that I've tried to start it a couple of times. I didn't have a clue what I was doing right from the start.
Ugh.
And it's like, I feel like I need to have poured like 100 years into this thing.
I tried to play Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, same thing.
No.
Speaking as someone who actually worked on that game, no.
It was on sale on Xbox for like $5 for the standard edition. I was like, I'll give that a shot.
But so cool to see some of the things that people have done with that game. And they did something similar where a couple of years ago they introduced an alien race that they had been hinting at since the game came out. And then there was a player who actually was in the middle of a jump that got pulled out of a jump automatically and saw an alien craft, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
And it just started this whole thing going. It's very cool. I love when they do stuff like that.
I love stuff like that. Yeah. Speaking of cool, Sega is bringing out a game called Soul Seraph on July 10th. This is a lot of people are saying it's a spiritual successor to ActRaiser. It really has no involvement, although Yuzo Koshiro is doing the theme music for it. But the gameplay looks in the trailer to be quite similar to ActRaiser.
I mean, it looks exactly like ActRaiser.
It pretty much does.
Like down to when you're doing the town building, you're controlling like a little avatar flying around above. Like, it looks like ActRaiser.
Cool.
It does.
I'm so excited.
It does.
I really hope it's good.
This is being developed by Ace Team out of Chile, doing the development. They did Rock of Ages.
Okay.
You may have heard of it or played it.
Used to know a producer there that probably gave me a code.
Probably. So yeah, that's cool, and it comes out on everything July 10th, so very soon.
Nice.
Yes. And that's pretty much the news. I mean, there's that trade tariff note that all the
welcome
hardware
to my
companies
world
sent. Yeah. So apparently, right in time for the holiday season, imports from China are going to have a 25% trade tariff tacked on, and of course, that for a video game console, that's going to up the price. So representatives from
consoles coming out this year,
Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo co-authored a note to say, please don't. Please exempt video game consoles from that. So we'll see how well that goes.
Meanwhile, farmers in the Midwest are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about your game consoles."
You know what? I have to say, the farmers in the Midwest probably aren't saying sorry.
Happy Canada Day!
Oh God, 660 episodes of this shit.
Here's the 660 more.
Cha-cha-cha.
All right. Now that that's over with,
You needed an air horn right there.
Really did. Really did. I think we should get into what we've been playing.
You guys should go screw yourselves.
Yes, and Phil. Oh, there it is.
No.
Welcome back, everybody. Ha-cha-cha.
Phil, why don't you tell us about the games that you've been playing?
Certainly, my old friend.
Certainly.
Take a look at the old video game backlog and see what we got here.
Frosty the Snowman.
It was too late. Frosty had already melted away. Happy birthday. What have I been playing? Hey, Greg.
Hi.
I bet
yelling. Stop yelling.
Should. Here's one I bet you've been playing, Gregory.
Yeah.
And I say that both as someone who knows you and your taste in games, and also as someone who's looking at our planning document for this episode.
Yeah.
Virtua Racer?
Yeah, it's pronounced virtual racing.
Virtual Race Maker.
Yes.
For the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
It's the hottest new Sega game.
Super hot
Sega.
number one Sega downloadable game.
Released on home consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the... Well, no, I guess it wouldn't be. I guess Hard Driving's probably the first polygonal racing game,
Actually,
right?
you know what? It wasn't. It was a Namco arcade game called, I want to say, Final Lap.
Really?
Namco beat Hard Driving to the arcades with a 3D Grand Prix style racing game.
Wow.
Really?
Which you can learn all about if you check out the Hard Driving episode of Generation 16. But
go back and
no,
rewatch
Virtua
that.
Racing was not anywhere close to the first Polygon.
Okay. But it was Sega's.
It was early. Yeah.
Sega's first?
Yes.
Well, no, or was it? What? How about what was it? Radmobile?
Radmobile wasn't Polygon.
No, it wasn't. That one was.
I think that was like one of the very last sort of super scalar boards.
Oh, okay.
They used. Also, the introduction of Sonic. That game.
That is true. Hanging from the windshield.
Yep.
That's a little trivia that I know. Greg, you're so smart. You think you're the Sega expert, you creep. So anyway, I'm sorry. I take back that creep comment.
Okay.
That was out of line. That was out of line.
If CJ had said it, I would have been upset. But you, I know it just comes from love. So
well, it's true. But I picked up Virtual Racing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's great. I mean, I've always enjoyed that game. I'm not good at it, but I've always enjoyed it. And obviously I've not played the arcade version in decades,
forever.
Yeah.
Decades. And maybe you, I mean, because you've probably are more familiar with Virtual Racing at this point than I am, certainly.
I would say.
I mean, it runs really smoothly. Does it run better than the arcade version?
I want to say it's arcade perfect, but I don't know. I don't know what frame rate.
Okay.
And I'm sure the Digital Foundry video, because John Linneman did like an amazingly in-depth, like here's every single version of Virtual Racing.
Oh
wow! When the Japanese version came out.
Okay.
So I'm sure at some point he mentioned about the frame rate. I think it's the same frame rate, but I don't know. It's widescreen, which the arcade game wasn't.
Right.
But yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I also saw someone posted on the Twitters. Might have been Chris Kohler, maybe. But posting for Jeremy Parrish to see. Apparently the Switch version of the game supports Tate mode. So you can and letting Jeremy know, of course, because it works well with the flip grip accessory.
Yeah.
Jeremy,
I believe that was Craig Harris.
Was it Craig?
Former IGN. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, because this version has, I forget how many, I think it's up to 8 players.
Okay.
On a single console. And when you play that many players on a single console, it actually splits the screen 8 times, which is, I think, emulates a linked series of, because you used to be able to link the arcade machines.
Right.
So I think that's what it's emulating. And yeah, you can go to Tate mode for, I think, 3 screens. So they're actually giving you a decent amount of, although flip grip, you'd still need to use the card to stand it up, because when you play multiplayer like that, you've got to use the Joy-Cons in horizontal mode. That's the only way it works.
Yeah,
but that's a pretty cool little bonus there for the emulation on it. So it's not bad.
It's M2 and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny because when you look at the screen overlay stuff, you can tell it's not quite the right resolution. It's a little bit lower res than everything else. Yeah, if you look close at it. But I do love, like, right down to when you finish the game, if you get a little podium celebration for the drivers, and boy, there's just a lot of like Z fighting and polygons clipping through one another.
Oh, really?
It's kind of like, but it's very M2, where it's like, we're going to preserve this rather than fix it.
Right.
So yeah, I gotta say though, when I got it, I really didn't like the control.
Oh yeah?
It reminded me a lot. The default control reminded me a lot of, remember the Midway Arcade Classic series?
Yeah.
I think it was the third one where it had like
the driving games.
It was all the driving games, like the hard driving and race driving. I think the Rush games were on there.
Stun Runner,
yes. I think that's like the only like arcade perfect conversion of that game on a console or something.
Yeah.
And I found it unplayable because they didn't do the controls were emulating steering wheel controls, which on an analog stick mapped to the X axis doesn't work.
No.
Gotcha.
Doesn't feel right. And so the default controls for virtual racing for the Switch feels like the same thing. And I was I found that when I was playing, I was turning really hard all the time, and I didn't want to. It almost felt like it was either on or off. You know what I mean? Like there was no play there at all. It was just like even nudging it a little bit was just turning me into a wall, or it was the control was so fine that it was too easy to oversteer. So I really, and for some reason when I checked the options, it wasn't clear how to fix it.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of an issue I do have with this game in general, because it does that same thing where, like, when you're in the menus, you'll see there's a bunch of badges on the upper right. It's like it's this board, and it's using widescreen, and this blah 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 blah, and it doesn't really explain what any of them are. And it doesn't explain how to change them. Although you'll notice, like, if you get into the multiplayer mode, it changes whatever the board is that it's emulating, I guess. But anyway, if you go into controls, the steering controls, and you change from normal to arcade, it gives it more of a console friendly, I find anyway. A console friendly, yeah, really.
Change to arcade.
Well, what I found was on normal mode, if you actually play it like an old 16-bit racing game where you use the D-pad, it actually feels like one of those games.
Oh, really?
It's sort of, the longer you hold a direction, the further you're steering.
Okay.
Whereas with arcade mode steering, it's much more analog control friendly. That's the way I find it to be anyway. So once I discovered that and I changed it, adore it. I mean, I've been playing it like crazy for the last 3 or 4 days.
Nice.
So the only other complaint that I had about it, though, is that when I played online, I haven't had a good online experience at all.
Oh, really?
It's laggy as hell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's too bad.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've just managed to hit bad time, because I've only tried like 3 times. But it's like it doesn't. It hitches constantly in the menus. Like, it'll play and then it just sort of freezes for an instant, and then plays again. And then I found that kind of fixed itself when the gameplay started, but there was like a noticeable lag when you turn. Like when you turn, your car will keep going straight for quite a distance before it actually turns. So it's a little bit disappointing there. But I mean, as a piece of history and to be able to play single player, it's fantastic. Right. It's not the most. I'd say probably the 32X version is still the better game from a content standpoint, because there's more tracks, there's more types of cars, things like that. But this is very faithful to the arcade, which is fine, because we've never. I think we had this on PS2 as well, but maybe it was PS3. I forget. But anyway, this is awesome. I'm so happy with it. And it's like $9, or it was $9 here.
Yeah, I think it's only
Like $7.99.
Yeah,
$8 here. So
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I also picked up the Sega Ages Monster Boy or Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy.
Yeah. Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy in Monster Land.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the second arcade game.
Those games and their titles. I picked that one up just to have it as well. Have not messed around with it yet, though.
That's an interesting one to play. Because it's the first time that it kind of went to what Monster Boy is now.
Right.
Or Wonder Boy or whatever you want to call it.
Well, we should probably call it its actual name.
Yeah. But it's weird because where it's an arcade game, there's a time limit on it. So it's like a side-scrolling Zelda style, not Zelda style, but action RPG. Right. Side-scrolling action RPG, but it's got a time limit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'll have to sit down and give that a bit more of a play.
Yeah.
I also today I got a new game for my iPhone. Strangely enough,
they make games for the iPhone.
Oh, they do.
What?
Every now and again, they will make a game for an iPhone.
The hell you say?
You know what's nice about this one too, and actually it's the case with
free?
A lot of these games. It's free. It cost me nothing.
Who'd have thought?
I paid precisely $0 for this game. The good folks at Nimblebit, they're a game developer. They published a game called Tiny Tower.
I remember that
they
game.
did
years ago.
Great game.
I had a blast with Tiny Tower. A couple of years after that, they created a game called Tiny Death Star, which was essentially just Tiny Tower, but with a Star Wars coat of paint on it. And that was a good deal of fun until Disney bought Star Wars, and then like the next day they announced, "Hey, we're killing this game."
Yep,
which was a shame.
Such a shame in an all digital space.
Yeah, I know, right?
True, and it wasn't like it was very short, or like a very short time after the game had come out. So
that game
wasn't like the game had been out for years and they just shut it down. It was like maybe not even a year or something like that.
I don't think it was a year. I don't think it was, but yeah, they came out with a new game, and it's another tower building game. I mean, it's the same game as Tiny Tower and Tiny Death Star, but it is Lego Tower. So
so it's made for you.
It's in your wheelhouse.
It's very what's in my phone.
Until Disney buys Lego and shuts it down,
which would
really be screwed.
It's funny because I went to Aladdin tonight with my kids,
right?
And walking through a movie theater, you're really struck by how Disney owns absolutely everything now.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Almost every poster was for a Disney movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so it's. I mean, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it because it is the exact same game as Tiny Tower.
Sure.
You build floors, and you can choose if you want, residential or commercial or a service or a food.
Mm-hmm.
And people move into your tower. You assign them jobs in the various stores, and you earn rent, and you earn sales from the merchandise, and you use that to buy more floors and expand your tower. And it is, it's one of those kind of passive games where you play it for 5 minutes and then you turn it off, and that the game generates income for you while you're living your life. But yeah, it's a ton of fun, and because, like I said, it's Lego, so it's all nerdy for me.
Sure.
You can redesign your tower and like the background to look like, like I have mine all space Legoed up, so it looks like the old like early 80s Lego.
Awesome.
You can do like Ninjago or city themes, all that stuff if you want. So I'm enjoying that, and for free, the price is right.
Sure.
But I also picked up another Nintendo Switch game, which I believe CJ, you picked up.
I did.
I know for a fact.
Yes.
Greg, I'm guessing didn't.
Mario Maker, no.
Mario Maker
Part
2, the second story.
It's really the third time Mario Maker's come out. If you count the 3DS game.
That is true, but it's Mario Maker 2.
That's
Mario
true.
Maker 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Came out this past week. I picked it up. I have played a wee little bit. I haven't had much time to actually dive into it too much.
A wee little bit. Okay.
So I just I played a bit of the story mode because it has a story mode.
It does.
Time around. And
yes. In fact, the story mode has 100, well, over 100, I believe, levels.
Oh, is that right?
From Nintendo.
Nice. Which is great. Yeah. And it's got a little the story is that Mario and some toads are building a Peach's castle.
Yep.
And it gets accidentally deleted or erased.
They finish it, and then and
it's the little erase dog steps on the erase button and erases the castle.
Yep.
And now you have to play through these 100 stages to earn coins to rebuild the castle.
That's right.
So I've played a couple stages of that so far. I have not yet seriously tried building a stage of my own. I did build a few stages in the old Mario Maker 1. And you've built some stages, CJ?
I have. I've built 2 that I've published, and I'm kind of tooling around with another one. Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you been building these in handheld mode or on the screen?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried I tried messing around with the make mode on while it was docked on my TV.
Yep.
And it seemed tricky, kind of maneuvering around into the menus. And I'm thinking that I will probably have to switch to handheld if I want to make stages efficiently. Or am I just... Is that...
I mean, I've done it both ways. Really, the only thing you have to figure out is that the X button brings you back to like the main design screen, and any of the D-pad buttons bring you to any of the menu elements on the 4 corners of the screen. So as long as you do, as long as you realize that, and there's some other shortcuts as well, like the Y button once you're in the top menu brings you to the like search for elements, search for parts. Thing. Once you get around that, I think you can pretty easily make levels in docked mode.
Okay. Now, to be fair, in the game's defense, I skipped the tutorial stuff.
Okay.
Because I was sitting. Because I was sitting.
I did not.
I was sitting there with Finn.
Yeah.
And we were playing a couple stages, and then he was like, "Oh, let's try making our own level." And you're sitting there with a 7-year-old. He doesn't want to flip through.
That's right.
Pages of text explaining stuff. And I was like, I've made a few stages in the first game. I think I know what I'm doing. And clearly I don't. So
I did the thing where I went through the tutorial first, and then when Charlotte got home from camp, then we hopped on and did
there you go.
Did some stuff.
So, I'll have to wait until he's not around and then learn how to actually play the game.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple things. So when you play in handheld mode, you can't use the Joy-Cons to switch palettes and things like that. You have to use the touchscreen. That's right. Which actually, I don't find that terrible.
I got one of these. I got a
stylus.
Stylus with
you can get a stylus. I designed. I just uploaded a vaguely rip-off level of Super Mario 3-1-1 that I designed entirely in handheld mode.
Okay. Well, there you go.
With just my finger, not a stylus. So,
with just your finger,
with just this finger,
just your finger.
This magic finger.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and it didn't. I found it to be completely fine, and maybe part of that is because I'm used to playing iPhone games with small interface elements. So I didn't have that much of a problem. But
okay.
The other cool thing is that you can obviously cooperatively make levels in the game. However, to do that, you can't use, like if you have a Pro Controller and Joy-Cons, you can't use those. You have to use the side-on Joy-Con, the horizontal single Joy-Con control method, which changes some things around, but it actually gives both players pretty much the full access to everything. If you want to be driving some of the more complicated things like saving and loading, you'll probably want to be Mario. But like I had Charlotte be Luigi, and she was able to scroll through all the parts and everything herself. So you can really make a level on the same screen together pretty easily. If you want to try that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's worth giving it a go.
And in the story mode, you can also like add elements into the game, right? Is if you're having trouble with a stage, you can.
So if you die a couple of times, it allows you to hit the minus button and bring up a palette of tools.
Right.
That then you have limited uses for those. So you can put like one mushroom down, or one fire flower down, or one invincibility star down.
Right. Or even blocks.
Even blocks,
if there's a pit you can't make it over or something.
If there's a pit you can't make it over, you can put down up to like 99 blocks to help you with the jumps and things. So, and then if you die more times, you can have Luigi finish the stage for you, which my daughter was doing. She was getting very frustrated on some levels of story mode, and just having Luigi do it for her. Okay. Which I then had to explain, like, if you can do that, but then the next levels aren't going to be any easier, so you may want to just kind of tough it out.
CJ sat her down and was like, "You cheated not only yourself,
you played yourself.
You learned nothing. You earned nothing."
That's right. No,
and you word credits you don't even understand.
Yeah,
but so she would. She stopped doing that after a while. She's like, "Okay, I'll try to slog through this."
She was doing more. She wanted her father's love more than finishing the game.
Yeah, she was doing really good on some of the stages. So
seems to me she would be doing very well.
Okay, fine. She's doing well. Good fine. Lord. Teacher Theobald. Yeah. Professor.
Professor Theobald.
Right.
Yeah, I've also played a lot of levels. We actually have a channel for Mario Maker 2 on the Discord server where a lot of folks are sharing creator profile codes and new levels as they come out. So that's been really fun to play everybody's stuff. And there's also that endless mode.
Is it just the minus world from Mario 1?
No, it basically just takes you through user created levels based on what it perceives the difficulty to be. So there's 4 different difficulty options. And I've been playing through normal. Normal, you get some pretty good levels in normal.
Okay.
Pretty well designed, fair levels in that mode. People really like devising evil levels in this game.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up.
That was always my problem with the old game.
I've been seeing a lot of videos and GIFs people are posting.
Yes.
Of just ridiculous
inhuman
stages
stuff.
Where it's just like, you have to be perfectly precise to bounce your way through a stage. Like there's one exact way to get through the stage, and that is it.
Right.
And boy, that just does not seem like it would be fun at all for me.
No. And in fact, like, I mean, I kind of get it, because in the first Mario Maker, I would do the thing where a run and jump and then, place a platform at the very last pixel position that Mario could land, right?
Yeah.
Because you can see the trail of Mario's if you go back into Maker mode.
Yeah.
And I'm not as interested in doing that anymore. Like I went through a phase where it was like, okay, all these jumps are going to be the longest jump ever.
Right. I want to play Mario. If I'm playing Mario Maker, if I'm playing Mario Maker, I want Mario stages and not Super Meat Boy stages.
That's exactly my feeling as well.
Preach it, brother.
Yeah. Although now you can build in checkpoints, and some people are doing some interesting stuff with the on and off switch in the game. So there's some surprisingly good stuff in there already. And yeah, I'm trying to like sketch out single screen puzzles using the on off buttons. And it's it's a really, really fun Mario tool, and playing through like the normal stages, or giving up on the more difficult created stages is it's fine if you do that. There are some good things to be had amongst the super difficult Mario stages,
right?
Which everybody goes through those phases of making. And then I'll make a stage that I think is easy, and I'll upload it, and then it's like 15% completion rate. It's like, I guess it's not that easy. So
well, there you go.
Yeah,
but that's all I've been playing. So
okay. Well, I've been playing Super Mario Maker 2 as well, obviously.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm having fun making levels and playing other people's stuff. That's been fun. Chris Kohler made a side-scrolling shooter that's pretty fun, using like the Bowser Jr. ship.
What is this? Super Mario Land?
And I don't know if you saw. There's you can get the Super Ball.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yes, one of the secret things in story
mode
that
cool.
You unlock.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's it. Yeah, Super Mario Maker 2 is pretty awesome. I like it. I have not played online yet at all. I was never going to do that, pretty much. So, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Good.
And I might buy a stylus. We'll see.
You'll buy a stylus. Every time you say you might buy something,
styluses are cheap.
It's not a huge investment.
No, it's like under $10 to get a decent stylus. So
yeah.
I've also been playing the Dragon Quest Builders 2 demo. That came out like the day before Mario Maker 2 came out.
Yeah.
So I downloaded that and played through that. Obviously, I really liked the first game. And this one, the demo, it's a very different start to it. And it starts off really slow. Like if you played the original Builders recently, this starts out quite slow. You start the game on a pirate ship, which you'd think I'd be totally into. I'm all about it.
The only games he buys anymore.
I know, really. And then the game has you do like a bunch of busy work up front, and it doesn't really like start advancing the story at all until like 45 minutes or more in. Which might be a bit of a problem, but then it opens up and it reminds me of the original Builders a whole lot. But this time you have a sort of partner builder. Malroth is an NPC who helps you along and will even collect materials and stuff for you. But it's really fun. It's like it's the quest-based Minecraft that I really need. I can't. Don't set me in a world with no goals or objectives. I can't do it. Like Mario Maker. I'm fine with that, but not Minecraft. But Dragon Quest Builders 2, yeah.
Works.
What's that?
Weird how that works. It's fine when Nintendo does it.
When it's something like Mario, where I've played all those games, I have ideas of things to make, but yeah, you fight a couple enemies and do a couple quests, and it unlocks a photo mode as well, which is pretty cool. And it kind of sounds like the save data carries over at least to a point. The original Builders didn't.
Okay.
But this one, it sounds almost like it'll let you skip the pirate ship part of the game at the very least, which will be nice. The game comes out in like a week and a half, so don't have to wait too much longer. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. The text is small.
Yeah,
I know this is an issue, an issue for us old people.
Yeah,
of course. But on the Switch, I was playing it in TV mode, but my TV is not like right in front of my face, and the text was quite small. Yeah, the text was kind of hard to read, so I'm hoping that that's only a thing for the demo, but probably not, because the game's been out for 6 months or more in Japan.
Did you play it in handheld mode?
I didn't, but
I'm curious if the text is any bigger.
I don't think it is.
Oh,
and
really?
I'd be surprised if it was. But yeah, looking at the screenshot that I took on the Switch in handheld mode, that's some small text. So I'm old.
It's all Dead Rising.
I've got bad eyes. Yeah, it's very Dead Rising-esque. And that's pretty much all I've been playing. Mario Maker and Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Wow.
So Greg, what do you got?
I mean, Virtual Racing is the big thing. Plus the stuff that I've been playing on my Twitch channel, but I've talked about that a few times already. I got to the first set of boobies in Snatcher on the MSX2, so
woo!
Yay me.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I really spent time this week with was our mutual friend Mike White. I don't know if he did this for you, but I'm gonna rat him out anyway. For our respective birthdays, he gave Jim and I, our friend
and me
Jim
too,
and I.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
He attempted to buy the code, the PSN code. It was only for Canada, so he couldn't.
With 20 Canadian dollars. So
yeah.
Anyway, he gave us enough money to buy the next generation expansion for Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Yes,
which we ended up playing this week, and God, that game is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
when you have a crew that, especially if you're not too serious about things, it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't think I could play because it has matchmaking. I don't think I could play with randoms. Like
I've tried a couple of randoms, and I don't know if it's just that I got really lucky, but they were pretty cool. Overall, they weren't like, if you screwed up, there was just a lot of laughing. There wasn't really like a lot of people getting pissed off or anything like that. So,
that's good. Okay,
yeah, which is
that would be what I'd be worried about.
Yeah,
which is kind of like the way it goes. So I do have to say, CJ, you're the worst captain I've ever flown with.
What are you talking about?
You're
what
terrible.
Are you talking about?
Oh man, you're bad.
I was reading off the objectives.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
but you were making any decisions.
Yeah, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, it was more like because was I engineering? I think I was sitting in engineering when you were captain, and I was like,
probably
like 5 seconds after I'd made a decision, I was asking you if it was okay because there was no order forthcoming.
I was telling you what we needed to do. Fire phasers. That's really the only order, right?
There's no target anywhere.
No, fire phasers.
Fire phasers.
See that friendly space station? Fire on it.
Yeah.
Which you can't do.
So I will say though, it's cool to be in the next gen bridge because you're in the Enterprise bridge, but it's not as impressive as
it isn't as
bridge.
Impressive.
No.
Which I saw your screenshot from VR. Obviously, I'm playing on a TV in regular mode, so I'm not really like seeing the fluorescent lighting that's above you. That really makes it look like a conference room.
Yeah, it does, and I mean, and that did, but like, I feel like they kind of cheaped out a little bit on this one because, like, I mean, there's the hilarious original Enterprise that you can play.
Which is fantastic.
Which is amazing just because you're literally just presented with a bunch of colored buttons in front of you that have no labels or anything. So that was funny in itself. But like, no, the standard one, the standard bridge crew is pretty much set in the same time frame and universe as like the original Star Trek movies. Probably from, I would say, probably around like Star Trek 6, sort of that era. So it feels pretty modern anyway. But the nice thing is that it's really well populated. I mean, the 4 of you that are playing are there, but there are a lot of other people at the different stations that are just sort of doing their space acting. But in the next gen one, the captain has 2 people sitting to either side of him or her, but that's it. It's completely empty otherwise, and it feels like cavernous. It feels so empty when you turn around and look. It's like there's nobody in here.
That's the space where the cameras would go.
Apparently so. You kind of expect, like, because there's like 4 stations behind facing the other way that, in the old show you'd have people standing there doing things.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's still very cool. And I mean, the aesthetic of that show was so great, especially in a really great sort of sci-fi 90s kind of way.
Yeah.
So
they should do a Galaxy Quest expansion.
That would be hilarious.
That'd be fantastic.
Hilarious. But we still haven't finished that last mission. We came so close to finishing the last mission the other night.
So close. I mean, I already finished it.
But I don't know if the sale's still on, but if it is, and it's something that you're remotely interested in, you don't need VR.
Right.
The entire thing, the game and the next gen bundle are like less than $20 right now in the US.
Yeah.
So, and normally the bundle itself is like $20.
And it has crossplay. You can play with people on
and it has crossplay. That's right.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes. Yeah. So highly recommended. Especially for that price, you will get your $20 worth.
And it's on sale often.
Yeah.
So go ahead and add it to your wish list.
And you don't need to be a Star Trek fan. It helps.
No. Right. I am not a Star Trek fan.
It's a good time.
It is a super fun time. Yes.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But that's it. Otherwise, like I said, just playing the stuff that I've been playing in my on my streams. So
cool. Well, I think that means that it's time for tweets. All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias, Jacob Norgren. Jacob Norgren.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hacker Alias, Jacob Norgren, who says, I find myself spending the majority of my meager game time with the SNES and NES Classic, and very much looking forward to the Genesis Mini. As the old folks you are, thanks for that reminder, what percentage of game time do you spend on retro games, let's say 10 plus years old?
A lot.
First of all, NES Classic?
NES Classic.
There we go.
NES Classic?
NES.
It's the Nintendo Entertainment System, please.
We totally called it the NES Advantage. As a kid.
The NES Advantage, yeah.
No, not NES.
Oh. All right, Greg, I know you spend a lot of time playing retro games.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
probably the majority.
Yeah, I would say more than like 70% of my game time.
Well, with all your streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, part of the reason why I even did that was as an excuse to go back and play the ridiculous backlog.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's also kind of in the last couple of years, I've gotten to the point where it's like, why am I spending money on all these new games that I'm not playing right away when I could be playing all the old games that I paid full price for and never played? So, although I did just buy F-119. There are certain games that I'll buy new every year and play, but
sure.
And this coming year is after E3. I've got a sizable list of stuff that I do want to play when it comes out. But overall, I'd say 70% of my time at least is spent playing.
Wow.
And I mean, I think we've made this point before on the show. It's great, especially for those of us who don't have a ton of, as the person who sent the tweet in said, don't have a ton of time to play because old games aren't that long.
That's a good
usually.
Point.
You can get a lot out of an hour's worth of playtime.
With the SNES and NES Classic.
Yes.
You can do save states. You can save at any time. So, I mean, it just fits into your schedule a lot more easily than a lot of more recent games.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I play a pretty solid amount of old games.
But not 70%.
Not that much, no. What am I, a madman? But expect that number to go up a little bit when the Genesis Mini comes out, and expect it to go up a little more when the TurboGrafx Mini comes out.
Yep. I'm probably like, in terms of game percentage on retro games, it's probably like 10%.
You play a lot more modern stuff.
I play mostly modern games, with the exception of like loading up Viva Pinata in 4K.
I love it. Looks play Viva Pinata.
It looks so good, and my daughter loves Viva Pinata as well, so we can just play that, and it's a ton of fun. But I don't have my SNES and NES Classics hooked up right now. They are in their themed carry cases. And
they're doing lots of good in there.
They're doing a lot of good in there. Yeah.
I actually just a couple days ago bought a new HDMI switch box.
Nice.
Solely for retro consoles.
Solely for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my current TV has like 3 HDMI inputs, and those are being used by Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. So
speaking of retro games and HDMI and all that, do you see that the people who did the HDMI box for the GameCube, Eon, just announced an N64?
Oh,
I
really?
saw HDMI solution, and it's something that you just plug into the back of the system.
That's cool. I like that solution.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure those games are going to look fantastic.
Oh, they'll look terrible,
not.
but at least you can play them now, right? I mean, for as terrible as they're gonna look, they'll look that much worse in composite on your 4K television. So yeah, I would rather. Plus, it's just more convenient. It's just so much more convenient to plug in an HDMI cable.
Might be time for another round of No Mercy.
There you go.
So, that game was wonderful.
I was playing. Actually, that's the other game. Sorry, I should mention. That's the other game I played this week. It was Beetle Adventure Racing. I finally played it.
Oh, really?
Hacker alias Joey Riot sent me a copy.
Oh, nice.
After he listened to the show once, and for the millionth time, somebody had asked had I played it, and I said no, and he said I'm going to send you my copy, and then so that's what I was playing. And my launch N64 controller still works like a dream.
Nice.
Probably,
but I never played Mario Party.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Destroyer of analog sticks.
Yeah.
That's a really good game. It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's, looks like an N64 game, whatever, but I could see why people liked it. It's definitely got a Need for Speed vibe to the track design, which is all good. So
cool. Nice.
Hacker alias Mark's Remark says, what was the first game that you remember being so difficult that you couldn't complete it? I remember playing California games when I was 5 and not being able to finish any of the mini games.
Yeah.
Well, join the club on that. I played California games on the Apple II and couldn't make hide nor hair of what I was supposed to be doing.
Pretty good at
terrible at that.
On the old C64.
I was terrible at that game.
I was good at California games till I got to Hacky Sack.
Oh, really? Oh, see, I was very good at Hacky Sack.
Really? I couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Kid Icarus would fall into that, although I wouldn't say it was too hard so much as it was hard enough that I didn't want to keep playing it.
Does Atari 2600 ET count?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Although I did eventually beat that. It took like a year or two, but I finally figured that game out enough to finish it back in the day.
Platoon was another one that we always talk about on this show that Phil loves for some reason.
Let's not go overboard.
Yeah, Phil likes for some reason.
Not even that. For some reason, I liked it back in junior high. I don't know why.
I rented that game multiple times, thinking this is going to be the time I understand it.
Yeah, I did beat that game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it blows me away.
I don't think I ever got into the jungle. Game? Was that a Sunsoft game?
It was a Sunsoft game.
Yes,
and I finished it actually several times. I mean, to the point where I had the map layout memorized.
Wait, really? I think the bunkers that you could go into, were they first person?
No. Oh, yes.
Because I think I must have made it into the bunker once or twice.
Well, you would eventually, once you worked your way through the forest maze, you ended up in a village, and you could go into like the huts.
Okay.
And those were just like, I think they might have just been a one screen, but it was first person. But you would like click on.
I am remembering like a first person like through a bunker filled with water.
That's the second stage. You're in like a sewer system.
That's as far as I ever got.
And it's another maze, but it's one of those kind of old school, like step by step first person mazes. Yeah, that was the second stage.
That game haunts my dreams.
And then, like dudes would burst out of the water with a knife, and you'd have to shoot them before they attacked you. Yeah.
Yep, that'd be it.
Yeah. Played a lot of that game for some reason.
There's a lot of weird R-rated movie games.
Oh yeah,
sure. For the NES.
I mean,
that's weird.
All your Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah, like Predator and
Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Total Recall. Yeah. A lot of RoboCop.
Rambo.
Yeah. You know.
You see that? By the way, you see the poster for the new Rambo movie? By the way?
No,
it's like called Last Blood or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're making another Rambo movie.
Is it actually called Last Blood?
I think it is.
I hope so.
I really hope that they do one of those like demakes, like 8-bit style, like.
It is
Rambo. Hey, you know what? Rambo and the NES. I really liked that game.
Rambo on NES, really?
And I can't defend it. It's not a good game.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. I finished that game multiple times.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're actually calling it Last Blood. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but please, somebody get like bonus XP who's made the Stranger Things game to do Rambo Last Blood. That'd be
Rambo
great.
Last Blood First Blood Part 5.
Is that the subtitle? That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. I think actually Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is the first game that I remember being so difficult. I couldn't progress because I couldn't get to Tyson. Initially, and then I got the code for Tyson from a classmate. I paid $2 for it, and and then I couldn't beat Mike Tyson.
You really paid $2 for a code to get to Mike Tyson?
Some kid scammed you out of $2 to give you a code from Nintendo Power.
CJ,
that's right.
Be honest.
I don't think it had been
Kanye West.
No, I don't think it had been in Nintendo Power by that point.
Oh man!
But I did. Get the code. I acquired the code.
Was that CJ? Was that your first microtransaction?
Oh,
I guess that could be called
pretty expensive one. $2.
Yeah.
What was 1988?
$2.98.
What was the guy's name who sold it to you?
Keith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Balrog.
Did you first have to spend $4.99 to get $2?
No.
And then you paid him in those. Okay, so at least
ahead of his time.
There was no virtual currency involved, but
no.
Okay,
no. But yeah, then I couldn't beat Mike Tyson, so there you go.
Did you ask for?
I never ever made it to Tyson.
No, I didn't. I should have though, right? And here I had the NES advantage. You would have thought I would have the advantage on the game, but nope.
I believe you meant NES advantage.
NES advantage,
yeah. I never beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out either.
Yeah.
So
it's a hard game.
It's not easy.
And Mr. Dream can't beat Mr. Dream. Nope. Can't do it.
I mean, it's the same.
Although now I could use save state spamming to just like get through there.
Lose, but more of a prolonged loss.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Evil Monkey, who says for games like Dauntless, which I talked about last week, right? For the sweet spot, where is the sweet spot between being fun and challenging or being too repetitive? So Dauntless, of course, is a free-to-play game, free-to-play Monster Hunter style game where you're partying up with up to 3 other people and hunting monsters. And of course, they have you go through a gameplay loop where you're doing the same sort of thing, hunting parts, because it is a free-to-play game, so that you can craft weapons and armor and all that stuff. So yeah, where's the sweet spot? I mean, I think first of all, you have to like the style of game that's doing, and you have to enjoy the game loop. If you don't, then you're going to drop out of it pretty quickly in a free-to-play game. And that goes for Fortnite or any other battle royale game or any free-to-play game, really, or Monster Hunter even.
Yeah.
And you also have to enjoy playing with who you're playing with and have fun that way. Just think of it as a chat room where you're killing monsters.
That's a huge part of it.
I mean, why have I been playing Sea of Thieves for over a year? Is it really because I love the game, or I like hanging out with Mike and Evil Monkey?
Yeah,
exactly. And Captain McGilla too.
Don't forget any more of your imaginary friends, CJ. Get them
all the imaginary friends. Anyway, But do you have any games? I mean, obviously you like racing games there, Greg, that you would really want to play with friends that you aren't able to convince people to play with you?
Well, I mean, I don't play a lot of racing games with friends anymore. We used to have a really healthy Gran Turismo league with a bunch of listeners.
Yeah,
which was fantastic. I used to love that, and we've kind of toyed with the idea of bringing that back, but it's so hard to schedule. I don't really do it anymore. And no, I don't really think. I don't really think so.
Phil doesn't play multiplayer games, so
I don't.
That's one solution for it. Just don't play multiplayer games. Yes. Let's do this one from a hacker alias Six Squid Games, who says, "What is your favorite game published by LJN?"
Oh wow. I think I have to look up games published by LJN.
LJN games. Let's look this up.
Let's find the list.
Wikipedia searches on podcasts. Oh,
yeah,
Maximum Carnage was an LJN game.
Maximum
Carnage was an LJN game.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wait. Are you sure?
Yeah.
What about Town and Country Surf Designs?
Honestly, probably Alien 3.
Yeah, I was just going to say Alien 3 was also, although
Genesis.
The one I was really crazy about was the Genesis, which was published on the Arena Entertainment.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
But wasn't LJN, didn't they own Arena?
Or Acclaim
owned Arena.
Oh, okay, that's what
I mean, Acclaim owned LJN. They were all,
right.
Eventually, Acclaim owned LJN.
Yeah.
Arena was, I believe, just a label they created so that they could release games on the Genesis.
Oh, okay.
And the or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I will say,
Alien 3 probably.
Yeah, Alien 3 is probably their best one.
But I rented a lot of LJN and Acclaim games back in the day because you knew they were going to be bad. You knew they were going to be bad, but you wanted to play them anyway. So I rented Friday the 13th and Jaws and Karate Kid.
Oh my God, Spirit of Speed 1937.
Back to the Future. The Back to the Future NES game is terrible.
It really is.
Which was a Dreamcast game. There's an LGN game released in 2000.
That's crazy.
Ooh. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Another terrible game.
God, that game was terrible.
And I played the hell out of that Roger Rabbit game because I loved
me too.
A lot of people did.
I finished it. I will say that.
Did you feel good about that though?
You know what? I did. Although I will say this, I did have to call the Nintendo counselor line for help on how to defeat the final boss, who was, of course, Judge Doom. So, of course, I cheated a bit.
Throw acid on him?
Well, first of all, it's dip.
Whatever. I don't really care.
The final boss fight of the Roger Rabbit game, you are fighting Judge Doom atop the giant dip truck, which is spraying dip, and it's kind of like moving towards Roger and Jessica, who are tied up, and you have to. That's kind of your time limit, I believe, and you have to beat up Judge Doom and knock him down off the truck. I think
wasn't easy.
And then you have to run and get like the nozzle, like the dip nozzle. And Judge Doom rushes at you, and you have to just spray him, and then you win. Yeah. So there you go. But the secret that because I wasn't doing any damage to him as I'm trying to beat him up.
Sounds like a rare game.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm using items on him. That was a rare. That was a rare developed game.
A lot of LGN games were rare games, my friend.
Yeah, I was punching him. I was using all my items, my bombs and stuff. Nothing was doing damage to him. What you had to do was you had to tap the punch button, which caused Eddie to wind up a punch,
and he would bounce across the screen.
Yep, and you're having to like bounce back and forth as you charge up your punch meter, and then once it's charged completely, you rush in and punch him, and then you repeat that process 1,000 times.
Yeah,
and
did you watch any of Games Done Quick in the past week? By the way,
no. Why did they do Roger Rabbit?
No, but occasionally they. I seem to remember they did in one of the events. They did Roger Rabbit, not this year, but
the only Games Done Quick I watched was some Tetris Effect.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which Boy, I thought I was pretty okay at Tetris.
Oh, watching good people play Tetris is the worst. It's just
wow.
You want to feel bad about yourself? Watch good players play Tetris.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. But congrats to Games Done Quick. They made over $3 million for Dr. Lord.
That's a lot of dollars.
Yeah, they beat their record this year, so that's great.
There's an article recently about how gaming marathons have become like a really popular way to raise money for charity now.
Yeah.
Well,
which felt kind of cool.
Firsthand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Almost $50,000.
Yeah.
That's what you've raised personally.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Awesome. And I'm not even that likable.
That's very true. You can tell me off the air how much you embezzled.
Oh, Phil.
No, I'm kidding, Greg. Greg is a straight shooter.
Indeed.
Very honest with his funds. But,
please visit my Patreon.
That piece tea doesn't pay for itself. Which is why the Patreon's there. Uh-oh. Who's calling?
I have a phone call. I'll be right back.
Greg's got a phone call. That's
what?
Oh, geez, I hope that's not the
was that a landline phone call?
I think so. I just hope it wasn't the Extra Life people
exactly
listening to us right now. They're like, we heard tell that you're stealing money. That was a joke, everyone.
That was a call. Apparently the IRS is suing me.
It was a joke. Donate to Greg's charitable causes.
Please do.
They are wonderful.
Indeed, they are.
What else do we have here? Well, while Greg's gone,
I'm just gonna stop.
Oh, are we? Oh,
stop down.
Is this?
We're gonna wait.
We'll just edit this chunk out.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
The people watching us on the YouTube now.
They get to experience the dead air.
What happens? We're just gonna sit here quietly
on this podcast.
I just
with this section. Did you make that joke? Did you make that joke? Did you make it?
We need to be quiet.
Okay. Let's do live on air Mario Maker levels. We'll just make the levels off screen so that people can't see them. I'll make it in handheld mode.
In the living room.
Who?
My Switch is out in the living room.
Oh, we'll go grab it.
How does that question factor into our conversation? Finn's probably out there playing. I'm not going to disrupt his Minecraft, which is probably what he's playing at the moment.
So my daughter's been making levels by herself too, and the levels generally consist of a question mark block that has a bell in it, or cat Mario, or cat whatever.
Cat.
In this case, she's playing as Toadette. So Cat Toadette. And then maybe about 2 screen lengths, and then the flagpole.
So it's an easy stage.
A very easy stage. Like maybe for a clear pipe. Maybe a clear pipe. A clear pipe, yeah. So using the 3D World stage maker. And maybe an enemy or two. Okay. That's it.
So the pipe is translucent?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see through it.
See through it. That's right.
So it's like my crack world. It's like my crack pipe.
Sure.
Which is clear.
All right.
Crack is whack. Crack is whack.
Crack is whack.
Don't get hooked on the
crack. Winners don't use drugs.
Don't get hooked on the crack. Not even that is legal here in the great state of Washington.
I would hope not.
And we have all sorts of legal stuff out here.
Yep.
Let me tell you.
Apparently, talking about GDQ. They did Punch Out. We were talking a little bit about Punch Out. They did the Wii version of Punch Out blindfolded.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How do you? Well, I mean, it's Punch Out. It's very pattern driven, but I guess it's very pattern driven.
Apparently.
Goodness.
I don't think I ever finished the Wii game, actually.
I did not either.
No.
So
I wonder if another Punch Out game will be made.
That would be nice.
That would.
Do you remember the Wii version of Punch Out could be played with the balance board?
I do remember that. Yes,
that was Extra Life. They heard something about embezzling.
See, did I call that, TJ?
Figured that. Yeah.
It's as soon as you as soon as you walked away, that was the first thing I said to CJ.
Yeah,
was it was Extra Life calling to demand more money from you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So go give to Greg's Patreon. He needs the funds now more than ever.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and if you know a good lawyer, no, just kidding with all that. I have it.
All
All
right.
right.
Let's do this
good.
one from hacker alias Benjamin Rivers,
Uh-huh.
who says, in honor with a U of Canada Day, what is your favorite, also with a U,
Mhm.
Canadian developed video game?
It's another reason why people don't like you guys.
Which, by the way, congratulations to Ben Rivers on the release of Worse Than
Yes.
Death on iOS.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Canada Day, that's tomorrow. So Worse Than Death available now as you listen to this, quite possibly. I will link to that in the show notes. Very worth supporting Ben
Absolutely.
Rivers games.
I have that game on my Steam wish list.
Ah,
Excellent.
So I
that's
am
important too. Actually,
That is important.
well.
It's a big deal.
Okay. Let me say this: I had it on my Steam wish list, but then Steam started running this promotional sale like race, so I took it off my Steam wish list because I didn't want to accidentally get that game for free. I wanted to get it
right.
a more expensive game for free. So
How we didn't talk about that in news, but
all
how
right, Benjamin.
messed up is that? Where as part of the
Maybe
Steam
make the
summer
game more
sale,
next time.
they had a little like mini game where you could win the game that's at the top of your wish list, and people started removing games off their wish list so that they could get whatever high priced game.
Well, the
most
idea,
predictable issue of all time.
Yeah.
well,
I would say.
because it's the contest rules state that you win the top game or like one of your top 3 games on your wish list.
Yeah.
But that
So people
detail,
just
but that detail was kind of buried
yeah.
in the rule set, so people were just like, "Oh, you can win a game on your wish list. I better get all these inexpensive games off my list."
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That
all
screwed
these,
a bunch of indie developers
all these
in
indie
the
games.
process.
Because apparently that's. I mean, I never really thought it because I'm obviously not a game developer.
Yeah.
So I never really thought about it, but I guess being on Steam wish lists is a good thing. Like it
Yeah, it is.
I guess
It's a good thing, and also I think part of the algorithm on whether Valve storefront.
Oh, really?
Your
Is that what
game.
it is?
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's kind of screwing over a bunch of indie developers.
it did. Yeah.
For-
And Steam clarified via a tweet. I don't know if it helped. The damage had already been done by that
Right. Well,
point.
that's just it. Yeah.
The momentum was pretty high at that point.
But I will say, of course, I was speaking in jest. Worse Than Death is in fact still on my Steam wish
Excellent.
list. So I will be picking that game up as soon as it.
Well, and
gets-
it's out on iOS this week. So
yeah.
not that you ever play games on your phone, but
I want to play. I want to play that on a
the
big
full
screen.
experience. Okay. All right.
So I will definitely pick that up on the Steams.
Anyway, favorite Canadian developed game.
That's a big question. There's a lot of Canadian developed games.
Did somebody say Kitchen?
Yeah.
Somebody
Oh,
say
okay,
Kitchen.
I mean,
Yeah.
take your pick of the Assassin's Creed games.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
I would say for me, it's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. It's one of my favorite racing games of all time. So that's got to be right up there.
Actually, you know what? I mean, Simpsons Hit and Run is an outstanding game. And holy crap, we need a remaster of that like yesterday.
Yep.
You know what one of my favorite Canadian developed games of all times is?
What's that?
A game that also takes place in Canada. A certain lost Ubisoft game developed by the good folks at Ubisoft Montreal called Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The game.
Yeah. That's a shame.
That's a great game.
I don't know who we have to throw money at to get the licenses, whatever license is the problem holding this thing up.
Yeah.
But man, they should just start a damn Kickstarter. I bet they would get the funds in a day to.
Yeah, you're probably right to remake it.
to
release it.
Yeah, to get whatever licensing issues sorted out and get it ported to modern systems or up on Steam. I mean, God, the game is so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
Oh,
yeah. I was really thinking you're gonna say Too Human, but that's good too.
No, Too Human. Come on. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Absolutely. And let's do this one. Speaking of Canada Day, from Hacker Alias Mr. Nelson, who says, in honor of Canada Day, what is the most quintessential Canadian video game? So I would assume this is game set in Canada. So you answered that, I guess.
I already answered it. Yeah. Scott Pilgrim, the game.
What's the quintessential Canadian video game?
What the heck is that? Cross Country Canada.
Oh, right. That was the one we had a Jeopardy, Final Jeopardy on. That neither Phil nor I knew.
Yeah, of course not. Why would we?
I don't know why you would.
Yeah,
I know. No. Okay.
Are those the two games set in Canada?
I'm sure there are a lot more.
Scott Pilgrim and what's the other one? Oregon Trail, but Canada.
Oregon Trail, but Canada.
I forget the name of it already.
Wow.
Cross country
Canada.
Trucker. No, Canada. Ice Road Truckers.
Some Wolverine game.
Yeah, any Wolverine game.
Deadpool.
Any of the Origins games.
Deadpool game. There you go.
Yeah.
WrestleMania X18 that was held in Toronto.
Jeopardy.
Because of Alex Trebek?
Alex Trebek is Canadian.
Mm-hmm. Done.
Any of your Jeopardy. The Back to the Future games. Michael J. Fox. Proud Canadian citizen.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Yeah.
I don't know. There's got to be some more, right?
I mean, The Matrix, right? Because Keanu Reeves is Canadian.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Is he really? I had no idea.
Slow down there.
He's a hockey goalie and everything.
I don't know that.
Well, now you do.
Why would I know that? My goodness. I guess I would assume
any game with snow in it is in Canada.
1080 snowboarding. Done.
I feel like at least some of The Last of Us took place in Canada.
SSX.
The Donkey Kong Country snow levels.
Yes.
There you go. Wasn't one of the or some of the Dead Rising games made in Japan or not Japan? Canada,
Capcom, Vancouver.
They were.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think Dead Rising 2 through 4.
Okay.
Were made in Canada.
There you go. Yeah. There we go.
I think that's where we'll end it.
The real answer, of course, is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Of course. Yes, that is the most quintessential.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a real shame.
Oh, that game is good.
Yep.
Maybe one day.
It wasn't around very long either.
No. And I remember they had some DLC that took forever to come out. And I swear it was like a week after the DLC hit. They were like, we got to take this game off these services now.
Yeah, all digital future.
Mm-hmm.
All digital future. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That would be the thing, man. Like, can you imagine if like Limited Run?
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, could do like a physical. I would buy that. Speaking of which, you picked up the Star Wars games. I heard.
You know what? I did. I don't know why. I mean, I do know
totally see why. The packaging was really cool.
I mean, yeah. So Limited Run games. You know, a couple weeks ago.
Good.
Or so they announced that they struck some deal with LucasArts and they're going to be putting out physical versions of all these LucasArts games, like from the Star Wars games from throughout their history. It looks like they're really back.
Yeah, like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and Dark Forces, I think, is in there, and it's a nice set of games.
There are some great Star Wars games.
Monkey Island is part of that deal too, as far as I know.
Right?
Yep.
That's fantastic. I'll buy some physical Monkey Island games. But the first physical Star Wars games went live a few days ago. A PS4 port of the
Bounty Hunter?
Bounty Hunter, which was like what, PS2 and
but the PS4 version was released digitally ages ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that's one of the your Jango Fett,
Yep.
a patriarch of the shittiest bounty hunter family in the galaxy. So they did that, and then what's it? And then the NES game, the Star Wars NES game, and they're actually doing it's a physical cartridge, like it's an NES cartridge playable on an NES hardware, and then the Game Boy Star Wars game. And I was like, and yeah, they'd had the big expensive deluxe edition, but then the cheaper editions are packaged on blister cards, like, and they're designed
like
to look
Kenner,
like the old Kenner action figures. And
which I think is great. When I saw those, I was like, I still don't want these games. Those games aren't very good.
No, they're not. They're terrible.
But like, way to speak to the fan. Like that's I could totally see.
And I guess the little blister cards are designed in such a way where you can actually get the game out without destroying the package, and you can put it back in, so it's still a nice display piece.
So you don't have to be the collector guy who never plays anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll buy the Game Boy one, because obviously I sold my NES collection quite some time ago, so I was like, I don't really need that. I was like, well, I'll get the Game Boy version just because I still have my Game Boy collection, and I have that sort of weird affinity to the old black and white Game Boy game. So I bought it, and then I'm on the site, and it's limited run, so you're frantically
clicking
and refreshing in a mad dash to get the game paid for before it sells out. And I was just like, I'm here. The NES game is still available. Okay, I guess it's in my cart now. I paid for it. So it happened. I don't know how. I don't even think I clicked on it.
That's great.
Somehow it ended up in my cart. And now I'll have, I think it is like late September, I think, is when those are actually being released. So yeah. So I'll have a nice surprise come this fall. So
I can't wait for them to put their the remasters, the 2 new digital pictures remasters out there. I'm all over them.
Oh yeah.
Are they doing those?
Yeah, Corpse Killer and Double Switch.
Double Switch. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like it.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
Yes, I need to get working on a new one of those very soon.
Indeed. You will find Generation 16 episodes as they happen.
And $3 plus Patreon supporters should have early access to the new episode a week from the 1st. Actually, cool. A week from this Monday. Because the episode is basically done, but it's not done enough that I can get it uploaded and launched tomorrow.
Excellent. And you'll find show notes and links on our website to, all the stuff we talked about, all the games that we talked about, all that hot news we discussed.
You know what else you should put a link to?
What?
On my second channel, Generation 16 Extra, I've been doing Top 100 Games series.
Oh, yeah.
And I just released the second video. So I've got numbers 100 through 81 up there in 2 videos right now. And they're kind of fun.
This is your personal top 100.
Personal top 100 that I said in the first video. If you asked me to put together a top 100 list again, it would be nothing like the one I'm working on right now.
Sure.
But I'm still, it's a lot of fun. And I think there's some cool stuff in there that people would be surprised about. So
now let me ask you a question. When you were formulating the top 100, do you have the list?
I do.
Or are you doing it video by video?
No. I have the list.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Go check it out. CJ will put a link in the show notes.
I will.
Greg?
Yes.
And now, and because this is one of the problems, the obstacles that we all have to overcome when
obstacles,
one of these best games of all time list or our favorite games of all time. Are you judging them by today's standards, or are these like, oh, I love this game tremendously back in the day, so I still rank it super high?
Partially that, and it's partially like, honestly, the way I put this list together is I looked at because of course, I'm a big nerd. I know what games I own,
right?
Which is I think it's like 2,000 or 3,000 games.
Yeah.
And I literally went through, and a lot of it's nostalgia. Actually, a lot of it is nostalgia. Let's not fool ourselves, but also stuff that I'll still play today. So that's right. There's a couple games on there that, like, you could easily make the argument that some other game in that series, let's say, was a much better game,
right?
Like, objectively. This is the one that I have super fond memories about, and the one that I'll go back and play again.
Right.
So,
cool.
But go check them out. I'm really proud of them, and I hope people really like them, and I'd like to get a bigger audience for them. So,
cool deal. I'll also link to this in the show notes. I was on the Game Dev Advice podcast this past week, talking industry stuff, game production stuff. So anyone interested in that, I talked about like how I got into the industry and how I ended up a producer at Adult Swim, and all of that fun stuff. And why are you laughing?
I was just sorry.
I'm getting nothing.
Visualizing a Mr. Show sketch.
The pre-taped call-in show.
No, the pre-taped call-in show would have been great too. No, it was was it lawyer? I think it was the job interview.
Oh, right.
Yeah. The world is anyway. I'm not going to finish that.
And you'll find also on our website in the show notes a link to our Discord server where you can talk about video games. You can share your Mario Maker 2 levels with other listeners, and you can talk about this episode, because why not, with us and our other listeners.
What else you got to do?
Yeah,
it's true. If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up Apple's podcast application. You can also head over to the App Store and invest $1.99
cheap
in the Player One Podcast iPhone application, which gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
That's over there in the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can check out archives of our show and watch us live most weeks on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. Yep. And if you like what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. Greg owes someone a lot of money. That's gotta come from somewhere.
Awkward.
Sorry, Greg. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. But hey, you know what? If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier, you do gain access to a special post show every week where we hang out, we tell jokes, we have fun, we play games.
Industry secrets.
You find out who the biggest jerkwads in the video game industry are.
20 years ago.
Hints. It rhymes with Reg Duert.
Let's call him Greg.
Hint, one of them is on this podcast.
Tune in to our post show to find out who that might be. Who that mystery individual be, folks.
Oh, I hate you.
Happy Canada Day, everybody.
Yeah.
What else do we? What else we got? I guess that's it. Is that it? That's the whole.
Maybe.
Seems like it.
CJ.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Phil.
Gregory.
Yo.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Oh, God.
Rule Mm-hmm.
She's saying you don't know the French part of it?
Très bien. Ladies parties in French. We do this too.
You know, I know your anthem, just so you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, of course. Everybody knows that song.
Hey, and listen, happy July 4th week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
That that is a thing too. I appreciate all the Canada Day talk. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't say happy July 4th.
Indeed.
Next week I'll sing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Okay.
I'll hit those high notes. See if I don't.
Sure you will.
That's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, dear friend.